again. For years, her determination had kept her going through lawsuits, disappointments, a suicide attempt or two. And, of course, that feud. No matter how rough things had gotten, and Lord knows they had, there was usually a sliver of hope to penetrate nights of darkness and despondency. She had believed so hard for so long. Was it willpower that had gotten her through that awful dance school where she tried to teach movement and artistry to snot-nosed kids whose mothers were even worse than their talentless children? The mothers would have reminded her of her own. And though the work was beneath her, she suffered when even that failed. Some strength, some inkling of better days to come had gotten her through affairs and a marriage that wasn't much of anything, but she could feel her resolve slipping. Her hands weren't numb from the wind blowing off Lake Michigan. They were anesthetized from holding on so hard for so long, for nothing. She wanted another fistful of fame, even a fingerful of what she once had. She lied about her age. Did anyone really believe she was still 30-something? She was close to 50. Her unlined, wide-eyed face had adorned the newspapers. Now it was only her arrests, but even those no longer made the front pages. On chasing fame, she had once blithely advised, "Try to get yourself arrested as much as possible." And she had. But that was par for the course for those working in the nude. Back in 1934, while society doyenne Mrs. Harry Payne Whitney was cringing at seeing herself in the headlines, those of a certain ilk were not in the papers, accused of stealing her niece Gloria Vanderbilt from the poor little rich girl's mother, who was intolerably negligent. This luminescent blonde had reveled in her own scandalous headlines. Ink spilled for the most minor of incidents, like when her appendix was removed. Her every move had been broadcast. Dancer wants trial by jury. War of fan dancers begins at World's Fair. Held up by bandits and rebuked. Today, she needed to eat. Her roommate was harping at her. They argued whether she should return to her family and beg for more money. What family? There had been nothing for her in Erie, Pennsylvania. She had to be feeling so alone. If no one else remembered, at least she knew she had once been a sensation who earned great sums, performing to standing-room-only crowds. The Marilyn Monroe of her day, an inspiration for a legion of beautiful dancers now down to less than $1 in her stained pocketbook. Perhaps she looked in the mirror and was finally honest with her reflection. There was no work, no romance, nothing. Time was running out. Like numerous third-rate hotels, it would have had a long, narrow hallway with a grimy window at the end. Imagine hazy light from the dim hallway casting uneven shadows over the pattern of the worn carpet. Neither light nor optimism could penetrate the broken souls in the cheap hotel. A last stop, a temporary asylum from dashed dreams and delusional schemes. Impulsively, or had she been thinking of it all day, the blonde raced toward the window. Her roommate yelled after her. A low-heeled foot clung to the rim of the ledge. There was no time to turn back. Her roommate grabbed at her skirt, feeling the assurance of fabric in her rough hand. Then, horrifyingly, she felt it give, too fast, and the material slid through her hand. "No!" she screamed, as her troubled friend vanished from sight. It was not an easy end to a life that had not been lived easily. Ironically, 1956 was a leap year. Part 1. Chapter 1. Chicago was getting its groove on, letting the world know some little fire wasn't going to keep it down. The devastation wrought in the 1871 blaze was nowhere to be seen. The city had rebuilt itself quickly. Skyscrapers rose, and the city was a thriving hub of activity. By 1890, more than 1 million people inhabited Chicago. The World's Columbian Exposition of 1893 was meant to celebrate the 400th anniversary.